as part of our foreign policy. And this is something, again, that I spoke to our other partners with. What we really should pursue is that we should make sure that we in the region are the ones who will decide the future of the region. Hindi tayo wag natin pabayaan na dinidiktahan tayo ng kahit sino. Participants such as France and Saudi Arabia were of the same mind and understand very clearly where the reasons behind the region's view and perspective on the new economy, the political situation, geopolitical situation, and all that. So it is very, very useful to have come. Unang-una, I have met already the majority of the leaders around the region. We have also had a substantive discussion sa mga bilateral. Kaya mabuti naman na maliwanag, naipaliwanag nila sa Pilipinas kung ano yung mga kanilang pinaplano, na ipaliwanag naman ng Pilipinas sa lahat na kung ano yung ating mga iniisip, kung ano natin yung mga inaalala, ano yung ating gustong unahin, at kung anong maitutulong namin sa kanila at maitutulong nila sa atin. So that's more or less how the APEC summit went.
So we have a few questions.
Okay.
First question from Mr. Nestor Corrales from Pilipino.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon.
You will be meeting with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris this week. What's your reaction that the U.S. Vice President will visit Palawan, the province nearest to the South China Sea? Are you concerned that his visit there would further fuel the tensions between the Philippines and China?
No, I don't see why they should. She is in the Philippines and she's visiting another part of the Philippines. And of course, it is the closest, our closest area to the South China Sea, but it's very clearly on Philippine territory, so I don't think I don't think it will cause problems.
Just a quick follow-up, Mr. President. What issues will you raise during your meeting with the U.S. Vice President?
Well, it's not necessarily issues to be raised, but really, I have always said that the relationship between the United States and the Philippines must continue to evolve. And it will be that. I will say, well, things have changed. What will the United States do in response? And what do they expect from their partners in the region? I think when it comes to the security and defense in Asia Pacific, it really has to be a joint response. I don't think a single country should. I don't think any single country should go it alone. I think we will do much better if we respond as a group, and I think the other countries agree.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Ms. Shaila Francisco from TV5.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon.
The 2022 Joint Declaration was just released a few minutes ago. It made mention of the impact of Russia's war in Ukraine. Particularly, it said most economies are condemning the war and that they demand the full withdrawal of Russia and Ukraine. I just like to ask, what was your position there? What issues did you raise?
The Philippines' position has been made very clear in the UN votes, and wherein we talked about self-determination and peace. We continue to believe that, and for the Philippines, I kept reminding everyone that our national policy, our foreign policy rather, our foreign policy is based on the national interest and peace, and that's our guide. And I think that people understand this very well. The enemy to none, friend to all policy still applies, and so that is, we are still trying we are maintaining that. However, peace is war rather is unacceptable, and we ask all parties involved. There were several speeches that I made. All of them included urging that peace be brought back to Ukraine, and that the confrontation be brought to the diplomatic space. Wala nang gulo. Because the effect is not solely upon Ukraine or Russia. I think it's very clear. It was made even clearer here in APEC how the effects have been so far-reaching and profound. And to the detriment of many economies and the food supply of everyone in the world. So yun ang talaga, we have to stop the fighting, and we have to move on to diplomacy so that we, at least these other aspects of the Ukrainian and Russian economy can be productive again.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, let's talk about oil. You had a bilateral meeting with China and Russia as well. Sorry, not Russia, but Saudi Arabia. But but did you manage to forge at least deals, at least in the initial stage, with regard to the possible cheaper oil supply for the Philippines? And when will the Saudi Crown Prince come to the Philippines? Will it be a state visit? Thanks, sir.
Well, the discussion actually was mostly about our labor force and the different hindi naman issues, but yung kanyang si MBS, what was his prediction on how the development will go forward in Saudi Arabia. And pinagbigyan nga tayo, I think you may have heard the announcement that yung mga there are 12,000 claimants. Yung mga claimant na yon ay nagke-claim nung kanilang sahod na hindi nabayaran nung pandemya dahil nalugi yung kanilang pinagtatrabahuhan na kumpanya. Wala silang makuha. But Saudi Arabia agreed, the government itself agreed to pay those claimants para naman meron silang. So that was one of the first things we spoke about. But then the Crown Prince, Prime Minister, went on to talk about the plans of Saudi Arabia to expand its economy. And I went back, sinabi ko nga, nung after the 1973 oil crisis, the building boom of Saudi Arabia was the one that instigated the new surge of OFWs. And he immediately stopped me and he said, that's not a building boom. The one that's coming is the building boom. That's nothing compared to what we're going to do. So we will need more workers. And so that's another opportunity for us. We talked about oil a little bit. We talked about petroleum products, primarily fertilizer, but also oil. And in terms of the oil supply. So kailangan pa natin lakarin ito. I reminded the Prime Minister, the Crown Prince, that in the 70s, ako yung pinapadala nung aking ama na para makipag-negotiate sa Saudi Arabia nung panahon ng oil minister nila si Sheikh Saki Yamani. And nakilala ko at I would travel with him para lang makakuha tayo ng concessions. So sa Saudi Arabia para sa Pilipinas. Sabi niya, well, we can discuss it again. So, babalikan natin lahat yun. So, there was not any, in terms of that, labor, may mga specifics talaga. Pero sa fuels, sa oil supply, we touched upon it, but we just have to pursue it further. Yung fertilizer, mukhang mas madali. Baka meron tayong makuha sa kanila. I'm sorry?
Yung his visit to the Philippines.
Well, sinabi ko sa kanya na kailangan niyang makabisita. And he surprised us all. He says, yes, I have to, because my second mother comes from the Philippines. Meron siyang ganun. Ang opening nga niya, sabi niya, there is no Saudi Arabian who does not have a Filipino friend somewhere down the line. And I guess totoo yun dahil talagang we have been part, we have become part really of their society and workforce.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next is Romero from Philippine.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. The Chinese Foreign Ministry released a statement after your meeting with President Xi that the Philippines and China should reject acts of bullying in the region. What should be done to prevent bullying, especially in the South China Sea, and what to you constitutes acts of bullying?
Well, I suppose maybe the term bullying is not exactly accurate, but I would characterize it as something different. I would say that as part of our foreign policy, and this is something again that I spoke to our other partners with. What we really should pursue is that we should make sure that we in the region are the ones who will decide the future of the region. Hindi tayo wag natin pabayaan na dinidiktahan tayo ng kahit sino. Maybe that's what the Chinese were referring to. But that's essentially that has always been my formulation. That's why it begins with being able to engage with everyone from either side of any conflict, still being able to engage on both sides, and that is so that we can determine. That's why these meetings, these summits are so important, because we can come to a common position, and it is how it should be. It is us in ASEAN. It is us in Asia who should decide. Australia kasama, because they could really consider themselves part of Asia. It should be us in Asia who decides the future of Asia. The Asia-Pacific region, the Indo-Pacific region. Dapat ang mga tiga doon ang magkukumpas kung saan ang takbo ng region na yan.
Last question, sir, from Imelda from PBBM.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
You've met several global leaders here in Bangkok, Thailand. Can we just have a rundown? What countries have invited you to visit their countries, and which invitation have you accepted?
What countries have invited me? All. What countries will I accept? All. Kaya marami pa tayong ganito.
Can you just name some, sir?
Well, all of them. I spoke to President Macron. I spoke to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the Albanese of Australia, and
Ferdinand, New Zealand.
Jacinda Ardern, who was the idol natin yun. I kept telling you, you were a beacon of light during the pandemic. She said, I didn't realize I was in a bubble. Which is, sabi ko, well, simply because when we didn't know what to do, you were very decisive and you provided leadership. I think that's the most important. So, yes, again, for New Zealand, lahat talaga, actually lahat. Even in the ASEAN, siyempre, Vietnam also, because we have so many connections already, at least on the private sector side, with Vietnam. So, I'd like to go to them all at some point. Pero scheduling, I have to go back to Manila at marami rin kaming kailangan ayusin at tapusin. Yeah. No, I mean, it's always very useful. Like, for example, it's really absolutely surprising. France, Canada, malalayo na ito. But they come, Russia, even United States, they come because it is well recognized that the Asia-Pacific region is still going to be the driver of the global economy, which starting already again, and as things calm down, the pandemic goes away, hopefully the Ukraine conflict is at least brought to peace. Pag nangyari na yun, you will see that I'm confident when I say that this area will be the ones that will be the driving force. Dahil nahihirapan ang US to recover. The EU, the European countries are having very much difficulty with the situation with Russia. Even maybe the Middle East also. Kasi medyo matibay-tibay ang kanilang mga ekonomiya. So between the Middle East and the Asia Pacific, I think these will be the economic poles as we move forward. All right. Thank you. Maraming salamat.